Let me say this slowly. So every coward in Washington, every bureaucrat at the DOJ, every powerful man who thought he could bury the truth beneath children's broken bodies hears me loud and clear. We saw the files. Not rumors, not gossip, not conspiracies, not TikTok edits. Files. Millions of pages released by the Department of Justice of the United States of America. And suddenly, let me guess, now we're supposed to go back to work? Now we're supposed to pretend we didn't see it? Now we're supposed to shrug and wait for November like good little citizens? Absolutely not. Not this time. Not after this. Not after seeing what we just saw. Because what dropped this week didn't just break news. It broke the spell. It shattered the illusion that the elite of this country are anything more than a rotting aristocracy held together with lobbyists, the blood and the blood of the powerless. And here's the part that should terrify them. The American people finally understand the game. We saw whose names were protected. We saw whose names were exposed. We saw how survivors were unmasked, while men with private jets and private islands got redaction bars as thick as concrete walls. We saw who the system chose to shield. We saw who the system chose to sacrifice. Do you understand how depraved that is? The government of the United States will redact a billionaire's calendar entry, but publish a survivor's medical trauma without flinching. That is not justice. That is not due process. That is not law and order. That is protection of power. Full stop. And let me deliver this warning straight into the marrow of this nation. If we, after seeing all this, still pretend there is a side that will save us, we deserve every nightmare that comes next. This is not a Democratic problem. This is not a Republican problem. This is not a left, right, red, blue, liberal, conservative problem. This is a humanity problem, a children were trafficked problem, a government new problem, a 3 decades-long blackmail machine problem, a clergy-level betrayal of innocence problem. And so no, you don't get to tell us to wait for the midterms. You don't get to tell us let the process play out. You don't get to tell us trust the investigation. You don't get to gaslight the American people into patience, while predators go home to mansions. When children are involved, patience is complicity. And let me prophesy something here. If Congress thinks they can weather this storm with statements, with hearings, with stern letters, with working groups, with any of the little toys they use to pacify us, they have lost their goddamn minds. Because this time, the people aren't confused. This time, nothing's blurry. This time, the rot is visible. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If we let them get away with this, there is no bottom to what they will do next. If they can traffic children and walk free, what do you think they'll do to your freedoms? Your elections? Your rights? Your daughters? Your sons? Your future? A government that protects predators is a government that preys on the nation. And so I'm saying this with the full force of my soul. Release the full list. Every name, every page, every email, every flight, every dollar, every connection. No more redactions. No more excuses. No more ongoing investigation. No more privacy rights from men who violated every boundary God ever made. If your name appears in those files, the American people deserve to know, not as judge, jury, executioner, but as witnesses, as citizens, as parents, as human beings who still have a moral compass. If these were your children, you'd burn the earth down to get answers. So look me in the eye. Why should the children on Epstein Island receive anything less? This nation will either rise and confront this darkness head-on, or it will fall into the same abyss that swallowed Rome. Moscow, Tehran, Pyongyang, Beijing, and every other empire that tried to hide its sins behind the suffering of its own people. It starts here. It starts now. And it starts with one demand so simple it shakes the earth. We want every name, unredacted, unfiltered, unedited. No protection for predators, full protection for survivors. And until that happens, there is no normal. There is no peace. There is no moving on. America stands at the gates of hell. You either expose the truth now, or the truth will burn this entire system down on its own.